It is Monday again, and it's actually 6:30 for those of you that would not know. I have to be somewhere, so I needed to get started early, and many of you said you didn't care. So today we want to look at the purpose of pain. We've looked at the reason we have pain. We have pain because of stupid. Our stupid, other people's stupid. We have pain because of stupid. We have pain to help others realize they're not in this thing alone, according to 2 Corinthians chapter 1. But we also have pain because we live in a fallen world. This fallen world has mosquitoes and snakes and scorpions and crooked politicians. So we have pain because we live in a fallen world. But you've stuck with me this long, so I want to go ahead and talk about the purpose of pain. The main purpose of pain is for you to change. If you have a backache, something's not right. You need to get it looked at. I know an individual who had a back problem and come to find out it was just because of the way his wallet was cutting off the circulation to the different parts of his body. And he had to change the way he sat in his truck and what he had in his pockets and those kind of things. It was a simple fix, but he couldn't figure out what was going on, but he had enough pain to go get it checked out. The purpose of pain is to change. If your legs hurt, if your arm hurts, if there's something going on, you need to figure out what you need to change. Now, the thing about pain is most people have not experienced enough pain to change yet. Enough pain to not enjoy life, but not enough pain to actually change what they're doing. I heard a story one time about a man that was pretty well off, and he would take his horse saddles and put them on the fender well of his truck when he headed into town and to different places. And he'd already lost two brand new saddles, but he kept putting them on the fender well and lost another saddle. Now, because he was well off, I guess it didn't hurt him too bad. He just kept doing the same thing over and over again. Even though it bothered him, it was a little bit of pain. He didn't change because it wasn't costing him enough yet. I know that if you have a rock in your shoe, depending on how much pain there is from that rock, you may or may not stop immediately to get that rock out. You may walk another 50 yards. You may walk till you get to the house. You may walk till you get to the job. Who knows? But I jumped off a roof one time and landed on a board that had a nail sticking in it. And I ran that nail right through my shoe into my foot. And you know what? I stopped immediately. There was no walk 20 yards. There was no think about it a few minutes. It was so painful. I immediately had to make a change. Most people have not had enough pain to change the things that are making their marriage bad, their relationship with their kids bad, the job, whatever it may be. But that purpose isn't changed. It's just not bad enough for them to change yet. The purpose of pain ultimately is for you and I to change. One of those things that may need to change for us to not be in so much pain is our attitude. Maybe we're just a negative Nelly, and it just creates a bad environment for those that we're in and those who are around us. Maybe we need to change our attitude from that pessimistic, everything's the glass is half empty, to hey, maybe the glass is actually half full. Maybe today's going to be different. Maybe we need to change our attitude about ourselves, that we see ourselves in a better light, that we realize that Christ died for me, therefore I have value. Doesn't matter what other people think of me, I have value. We're changing our attitude, and if we change our attitude, it can change some of the pain in our life. Maybe we need to change our thinking. You know, people have what they call a self talk where they think internally and they say things like, why does this always happen to me? Why doesn't anybody like me? Why doesn't anything ever work out for me? And that kind of thinking causes life to have pain in it. And we need to change that kind of thinking to, who can I ask for help? Who can I get wisdom from on how to deal with this? What can I learn? How can I grow? We need to change the way we're thinking. And if we change the way our thinking, we can change much of the pain in our life. But we can also realize we need to change our behavior. That be To change our behavior, we have to change our thinking, but changing our behavior is really, really important. Maybe you need to change, buying everything that comes across the TV that looks like a great deal. Maybe you need to change the behavior of playing video games for 4 and 6 hours or 8 hours a night and coming home to work or going to work exhausted because you spent all night on video games. Maybe it's binge watching some TV. Maybe it's eating. Maybe it's there's a thousand things. But if we change our behaviors, we can change much of the pain in our life. So the purpose of pain is for you and I to change. And if you don't know what you need to change, maybe you need to go get some counsel. Maybe you need to go ask somebody else and share with them what's going on in your life, and maybe let them speak in to what's going on in your life. Maybe let them share with you some of the things they've changed in their life that has helped them live a better life. I know one of the things I had to change was I had to change my friends. When I came to the Lord, I had to change my friends because my friends were dragging me down to their lifestyle, and which was my lifestyle before I got saved. And like the crabs in a bucket, they didn't want me to get out ahead of them, so they kept pulling me back down. I had to change friends. So the challenge today is to take a look at your life, take a look at the pain you have in your life, and ask the Lord to show you what you need to change. Is it your attitude? Is it your thinking? Is it your friends, your behavior? Is it any of these things? Let the Lord speak to you. Let the Lord show you. And maybe the Lord will use someone, a person. Maybe you need to ask someone again. The Bible says in the multitude of counselors, there's safety. Maybe you need to ask somebody else. Maybe they can help you clarify and get through the fog of your life and figure out some things that you could change that would help your life have less pain. Maybe, here's something that came to mind as I was thinking, maybe the behavior you need to change is your anger. Maybe that anger isn't really beneficial to you. Anger is not actually the problem. Anger is amoral. It's neither good nor bad. It depends on what you point it towards. But if you're pointing that anger towards people, towards your wife, towards your kids, towards your boss, towards your neighbor, and not towards the enemy of your soul, that anger is going to create pain for you. So I love y'all so much. I see there's a bunch of people came on already. That's interesting and very exciting. Let me say hi to a few folks. Karen, Mary, Trey, another Karen, Dana. Bless y'all so much. Love you. Look forward to seeing you next week. And next week we will talk about the benefits of pain. And yes, there are some benefits. Hope to see y'all then. If you think this would help somebody you're connected to, would you give me a thumbs up? Would you share it? We almost reached 3,000 people last week. Let's see if we can reach it this week. Look forward to seeing you next week. Bye bye.